with luxury, if you wanted to be in luxury, you had to pay an additional fee other than your $63. Just like with commercial, there's a different fee because it's a different division. There's a different portal. There's different accessories and things that you need, paperwork, stuff like that. But with luxury, they have actually waived that now. There's no additional fee, but there's qualifications that we discussed at the awards gala, and I've sent it out in an email. That being said, I would love for you guys to hear from the director of growth for luxury, because a lot of you who do qualify have asked, other than A and B, what else do I get? So okay, presentation so you can learn more. Jason, is that your dog?
Not mine.
No, ma'am, not mine. All right, so we will pass.
Red dirt playing on a radio, big dipper hanging high up there, breathing.
I think you're muted, Jamie. Yeah, I couldn't hear you, but I'm guessing you were trying to introduce me.
I was.
Yep,
how did I mute myself?
Yep, you're back.
Okay, I'm back. So yes, the fantastic Jason, we're going to start with you.
Greetings. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second day of spring here. Definitely the spring market is upon us. My sassy preteen this weekend said, "Hey, Dad, no offense, but looks like you're working a lot more lately." And I said, "Yeah, the phone's ringing a lot more. Those pre-quality applications are definitely pouring in." The big talk right now is interest rates and what's going on with interest rates. And I just wanted to kind of bring you up to speed. And I think the national average the other day came up to 4.71 for a 30-year fix, which is, a heck of a lot higher than we were during the COVID easy times. And some of the things that are driving those, or the major thing that's driving that increase, is trying to get this inflation problem that we have under in check. Running at between 7.5% and 8%, which is 5 or 6% higher than we should be. So something has to be done. And obviously we've known that the Federal Reserve is going to be increasing interest rates. But something that happened 2 days ago was they met again, and Powell had said that he wants to expeditiously raise interest rates, which kind of stirred up the bond market again. We lost about 100 basis points within the hour, and rates jumped up again. So, they're doing all they can to try to get this under control. But I think the easy days are behind us, and we're going to have to get back to the normal blocking and tackling that we've been doing for 20 years, as rates were in a normal range around 5 or 6%, which is where I think we're heading back to. But it just means we have to be more creative. Let's get back to using seller credits to buy rates down. Let's go lender paid PMI. Let's try to do all the things to try to keep the borrower's affordability index as low as possible. Because even though rates are going up, and that should cause home values to go down, all the prognosticators are saying that's probably not going to happen because we still have that supply and demand issue. So I still think we're going to see activity go through 2023. I don't think there's anything to panic about with interest rates at this point, but just be cautious and be cognizant of the fact that when your client comes back to you and says, "Hey, I'm hearing 4.75 or 5%, that is true and that is accurate. But by all means, I'm always a phone call away if they want to run something by me and go over a loan estimate and see if it's accurate. Happy to do so. So that's what I got.
Excellent. Does anyone have any questions for Jason specifically? Well, thank you. We appreciate you, Jason.
We'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you. Jasper, next up. I know that you might be heading out, unfortunately, to a wake. So.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I try to talk about things here that come up with conversations with other real estate agents that I see and foresee potential problems down the line. And one of the things that came up just kind of in conversation yesterday was with nobody in this office, but I thought it made kind of sense to talk about. And I don't know what ends up bringing this information out. It might be something that you guys as the real estate agent are aware of. It might be something that Jason is aware of. But it came up in a conversation that I was having with a first-time home buyer where they're buying the house in April and they're not going to step foot on the property until September. They're not gonna stay there, they're not gonna live there, they're not gonna be there at all, the house is gonna be vacant. And I'm not sure if the lender knew that information or didn't, but from an insurance standpoint, and maybe even from a lending standpoint, I think the house has to be occupied in 60 days from a lending standpoint, but from an insurance standpoint, depending on the type of policy and the company, it's 30 to 90 days that you need to have some occupancy in the house. It doesn't have to be full-time occupancy. They can be there 2 days a week. They can be there 3 days a week. But to not occupy the house at all for 4 to 6 months after you close, I can confidently say from an insurance standpoint, would potentially cause a problem. Things aren't only a problem until we have a problem. So if everything goes well, there's no issues, there's no claims, whatever have you, there might never be an issue. It might never get brought to light that the person didn't move in 6, 8, 10 months down the road. But if they waive inspection, hot water tank goes, they've got damage in the basement, and now the insurance adjuster comes out because they've got to get something fixed, they've got to put in an insurance claim, and they see that this property's been vacant, that's when we're gonna have a problem. And it happens often, especially in my world. I never thought people would get into car accidents every day. I've got 10, 15 people call me every day, we got into an accident. It's crazy. You never think insurance claims happen, they do. And that's what I mean when I say it's not necessarily a problem until it's a problem. And the other thing is very similar to that, is it's super important, whether it's me or whoever it is that you're choosing to use for insurance, you have to let the insurance agent know if the borrower or if the seller is renting back the house from them for any period of time, and that the new buyer is not going to be the occupant in that 30 to 90 day window. Again, not going to be a problem until there's a problem. But if arbitrarily, if Jamie owns the house and she just bought it, but Frank's going to rent the house back from Jamie for 5 months until he finds housing, that needs to be appropriately disclosed. And there's not a lot of hoops to jump through, but there are a couple of hoops to jump through. And it is important to make sure that you jump through them appropriately so that if there's a problem, you don't have to worry about it causing a massive problem. And I guess the biggest problem would be the insurance company not paying a claim because something wasn't done appropriately, because somebody wasn't asking the right questions, or maybe the information was just never volunteered because it never came up. But I've seen it happen. I don't want it to happen to anybody. I don't want it to happen to any one of you guys. So just some food for thought to ask those questions when you plan on moving it.
Got a couple of questions. How do the insurance companies define occupancy? Because I'm thinking, okay, I buy the house, I own the house, I live there for a week, move in, live there for a week, and then I go to Florida for 6 months. And then the house is unoccupied.
Mm-hmm.
Or in my case, in my other life, I used to deploy to other parts of the country
Mhm.
for two months.
Mhm.
And the house was unoccupied. I had neighbors looking at it,
Sure.
probably have to see the fire department. Is that an issue of occupancy?
If you move in and you're in Florida, say you move in week 1,
Right.
week 2 through 6 months, you're in Florida. If the period of time you're gone after you've occupied the house is 6, 7 months, if you're gone half the year, you're not going to necessarily have a traditional home insurance policy. You're going to have some sort of seasonal policy to make sure. And the difference between the coverages on the seasonal policy are very minimal, but they're going to rate you. You're going to pay somewhere in between a traditional home insurance policy and a vacancy policy. The vacancy policy is no occupancy, nobody there. You've got the house in the market, or it's totally vacant for a period of time and you're not selling it. That's what you need a vacancy policy for. A seasonal policy, if you're there 4, 5, 6 months a year, that's the type of policy that you're gonna.
So should I have called my insurance company and said I'm not gonna own for 2 months?
2 months is not an issue. So if you move in, you take occupancy, your stuff is there.
Right.
Your ground to stand on is, listen, I moved in, I occupied the house. My stuff is here. Yeah, I had a vacation plan for 2 months. We went to Europe for 2 months. No big deal. If you're there, your stuff is there. If you're gone for 6 months and you know that you're in Florida for 6 months, then you need some sort of seasonal policy, maybe an endorsement, maybe a rider, maybe something on there saying that you're only occupying the house for 6 months.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
yeah. So any other questions? Good. Let them
And
know when you plan on moving in. It's very
We're gonna come
important.
back to this in a minute too, because it's also really important to bring in the attorney involved in that when you're doing an occupancy for use permit, when you're negotiating those terms and conditions, by the way. And then it probably would be wise, if you're that type of agent that I was, to maybe include everybody into an email exchange so that we all know what's going on during that process. But we are going to actually go back because Brady is on the phone. Sorry. Yeep. So I just want to pull back here. And who doesn't have co-host? You don't have it.
You have to take me off and add Brady.
Oh, it's me. See this stuff? This is all the stuff we have to do. So, hi Brady.
Good
How are
morning. I'm well. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for taking the time today to
Oh.
be on our meeting call here.
My pleasure, Jamie. It's funny. I'm actually going to be in Boston in a week.
I did see that.
Yeah.
This is
Excited.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I let everybody know that you're the Director of Growth for Luxury, and with the new rollout, there's no more fees that used to be associated, high fees with luxury, and now there's qualifications. If anyone in the meeting is interested after the meeting, I did print out the qualifications again. We did send it out in an email, but Brady's just going to introduce us to some of the things that you might not know for those that are sitting in the room and on Zoom. So we're doing hybrid still, Brady, on, what are the benefits of luxury and what does the agent get?
Yeah. Perfect. So, Jamie, thanks for setting this up. We have about 5 or 7 minutes. Is that right?
I mean, 5 is good, 7's stretching it, 6 is.
Okay. 5 is good. Okay. All right. So I want everybody, for those of you taking notes, to just basically draw a big plus sign, a really big plus sign. And on the upper left quadrant, I want you to write in traditional listings. Those are listings that you are listing every day or hoping to list every day. And on the right quadrant, upper right quadrant, we're going to type in luxury listings, KW luxury listings. Those are properties that are qualifying as luxury listings, which means in Essex County, which is where you are, when you list properties that are above 900,000, those properties receive extra benefits at no cost to you, meaning that when you have a property in Essex County that's listed at 900,000 or higher, you can market that property as a KW luxury listing, which means we're going to give you the templates and the branding that you need that you can use free of charge to market that property as a KW luxury listing. And if that property is in your local MLS, we're going to automatically syndicate it on the Wall Street Journal at no cost to you. And if that property is listed above $1 million, we'll also put on Mansion Global and Barron's Watch. Again, all of these things are available to you, done for you at no cost to you. Below the line in that third lower quadrant would be all of our Keller Williams agents. And those are agents that sell luxury and who aren't selling luxury yet. But every month, specifically the second Friday of the month, we have an event called our Luxury Learning Series. And that should be on your growth calendar. In fact, market centers around the country get together as a group the second Friday of every month to watch this Luxury Learning Series. And they watch it right on KW Connect. So that should be on your growth calendar. It kicks off at 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Central. It's a 30-minute conversation. To the lower right quadrant, this is for people that have earned into KW Luxury. So in Andover Market Center, we've got Barlas, Christine, David, Jan, Justine, Kalpana, Sadie, Siddharth, and Susan. Oliver did. Congratulations. And they've earned in because they've had 4 closings of a luxury property, either a listing or buyer sale in the last 24 months. And when they earn into a lot of free complimentary benefits. For example, today at 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern is our luxury spotlight on La Jolla, California. They've been invited to listen in on a conversation with 4 agents in La Jolla, California, north of San Diego, on what life is like in La Jolla, who's leaving California, where are they going, and what are they doing to win in that market? Well, that's going to happen today. I'll be on camera in a few minutes, actually in about an hour and a half, but that's 1 o'clock Eastern. We also have for them the Luxury Mastermind, which will be April 20th. That's a chance where we bring all of you together to talk about latest trends in luxury travel transportation. I'm going to screen share with you for a moment. So when we look at everything, all of these things on the screen right now are running for the agents who've earned in KW Luxury. So in March, we had our luxury information series, our learning series, our orientation, our spotlight. In April, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 events taking place. Noting that we've got our luxury information session on April 7th. That's really open to anyone. Notice that's 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. We've got our luxury learning series open to everyone. That'll be on Friday, April 8th at 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. We're actually going to be in Boston. So I'll be showing the world what life is like in Boston. We've got our luxury mastermind April 20th, our orientation on the 21st. Our spring masterminds is actually going to be in Nashville, Tennessee. That's open to anyone. And if you want to learn about luxury, you can attend that. Spring masterminds will run the 22nd through the 23rd. So that's just a collection of the things we've got going on. Jamie, any questions that I can answer for you?
Me specifically, no, but is there anybody on Zoom or in the room that have any questions about luxury, branding, anything? Okay. No,
Cool.
we're
All right.
actually good. I'm
We'll see
proud.
you
That was quick. That was Boston 5 minutes for sure.
That's my job. We'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. All right. So I don't have to make him. Do you want me to make you co-host again? You're good? Okay. All right. All right. So now we are going to get back to what we were talking about in terms of like renters insurance and fun stuff like that with Mitchell. And I will allow Mitchell to introduce his guest that he has brought from his firm and division. So.
Let me just quickly, let me introduce myself. I think I know most of you, but just for those of you that don't know me, my name is Mitchell Weissman. I'm at the law firm of Pecco, Weissman & Colasanti. We are a full-service law firm with offices in Lexington as well as Nashua. Just go back to the owner-occupied thing. If there's a mortgage involved, the buyer is getting a mortgage, the buyer is pursuant to the terms of the transaction are obligated to occupy the property within 60 days of the closing. That's separate and distinct, as Jasper said, from the insurance rules, but that's to be in compliance with the terms of the mortgage. That being said, are there owner-occupied police driving around looking to see if you're there? No. It only becomes an issue, again, as Jasper said, if you have an issue. So, but that's the rules. So what we typically do when sellers are staying over, and that's happening more and more because sellers want to make sure they have their house under agreement before they try to go out and buy something or decide where they want to go. We do what's called a use and occupancy agreement, which simply allows for the seller to stay over up to 59 days beyond the closing. In that document, we talk about what the terms are. Is the seller paying for the privilege? We like, if we have, we're representing the buyer, we'd like to have some money held aside, usually like $5,000, to make sure that A, the seller moves out when the seller is supposed to move out, and B, that the seller hasn't put holes in the wall since the closing. Important distinction for terminology. This is not a lease, so it's not technically a rent back, okay? It says in the U&O, use and occupancy agreement, that this is just, a lease is not created by this event. So we identify, so it's a use and occupancy, it's not a lease, and it's not a tenant. It's more important, better word, it's not a tenancy, okay? Does it really matter? No, but you might as well be teaching people the right way to talk about it and know yourselves, okay? Anything else on that particular issue? We've talked about this stuff in our lunch and learns, so again, we can talk about it again next couple of weeks when we come back in. All right, I want to introduce to you Carl Tumayan, who is the chair of our Wills and Estates Department. Jamie has been kind enough to ask us to bring in members of our firm from different departments, because there are issues that you will come in contact with that are not, they may be technically real estate, but there is an ancillary issue. So, and I'll let Carl talk in 1 second. What he's going to talk about is when you're on the listing side and you get asked to sell a house that the owner passed away, okay? So you need to know, before you even take the listing agreement, who has the authority to sign the listing agreement. You need to know if the estate of the deceased is in a position in the present tense to sell the property, because there are steps that need to get taken to get the property from a probate point of view ready for sale. Correct me if I'm wrong, anything I've said. So if I'm doing okay?
Doing great.
Okay.
Keep going.
All right. So Carl's going to talk to you a little bit about when you get that phone call, my dad just died, we want to sell the property. Carl's going to tell you here what you need to ask, what you need to look for, and what needs to get done. My friend Carl Tumayan.
Thank you, Mitchell.
You're welcome.
Hello again. My name is Carl Tumayan. Even though I'm young looking, I am the chair of the Trust and Estates and Probate Department. So, the first step that you should all take, and most likely already do it when you get a listing, is get a copy of the current deed, see who the grantees are. If you're not talking to the people that are listed, you need to find out where those people are, okay? Also, which is happening more often than not in these days, is a lot of times you'll see the reservation of a life estate. Parents convey the property to their children, reserve the life estate, for Medicaid reasons. So you need to find out if that life tenant is still around, okay? Because if they are, they're going to need to be a party to the transaction as well. So you're looking at the deed and it has 3 names on it. So, well, let me back up. So in Massachusetts, title to property can be taken as tenants in common, which is individually, right? It can be 5 people as tenants in common, and they all have an individual interest. It can be taken as joint tenants with right of survivorship, or husband and wife as tenants by the entirety, which basically is a tenancy that passes title by operation of law. What does that mean? If one of the joint tenants dies, the property automatically vests in the survivor, okay? And then the third most common method is to have title held in trust, which is basically an agreement between the trustee and the beneficiaries to have the property managed in a certain way. The trust document is what provides the authority for the trustee to act in any type of manner or circumstance. But so let's assume, for the sake of this discussion, we have title to property that was in the name of 2 individuals. One of those individuals is not alive. And it turns out that they were not joint tenants, a husband and wife, tenants by the entirety. So they were in essence tenants in common. You would need to find out how long ago that person died. Because if they died within 10 years, there is an estate tax issue. You need to find out if they probated their estate, that person's estate. If they did not probate that estate, then a probate would need to happen. If the probate did get filed, you need to find out how long ago the probate was filed, because again, if it's within 3 years, title insurance is taking the position these days that if probate has not been closed, in Massachusetts, the closure of probate is completed by filing for and obtaining what's called an order of complete settlement. If the parties have not obtained an order of complete settlement, then title insurance companies making the parties go out and get that. And that becomes more important in an intestacy, which I'll talk about in a minute. I feel the pressure of time limit here.
Because of my 5 minutes.
So,
Because this is interesting. This is why I want Mitchell to introduce the people in his firm, because you're going to come across buyers and sellers who will need some of the things he's talking about, or who haven't even created an estate or a trust or a will. And this is the department at which can help you. And so as we do these lunch and learns, I also think it will be valuable sometimes that even though Ann and Mitchell do a great job, it'd be great to go into an hour depth lunch and learn conversation on understanding trust and wills, or understanding whatever the opportunity is for the division of which Mitchell has introduced us to. So this is just a general overview. I know some of you are dying to raise your hands. Please don't. If we have a lot of questions today, this would be a great for our next lunch and learn to bring him in as the guest and know that all of those questions that you have about specific this department will be answered in an appropriate time. Is that good?
Yes, sure. So circling back to the order of complete settlement, that's the formal process for closing a probate in Massachusetts. But the law has been amended in Massachusetts to no longer require the formal closing of probates. You can do things which you can basically probate through informal, you can probate through ancillary, and you can probate through formal. They all have different steps, but to get an order of complete settlement, that has to go through the formal probate process. So if the individual ended up having a will, and that will basically gave the personal representative, in the old days we call them the executors or executrix, a power of sale in the will. The personal representative could sign a deed cutting off the estate's interest in that property. And again, the 3-year that I mentioned earlier is because the estate has the ability to pull back any interest in real estate for up to 3 years from the time the personal representative was appointed. All right, and that's necessary to pay costs of administration and any claims that might be filed against the estate. So that's why these title companies want orders of complete settlement, because it cuts off any other right. All right. If the individual died without a will, that's called intestacy in Massachusetts. They want an order of complete settlement because it identifies, or it has the court determine who the heirs of that estate are. And then you would get a deed from all of the heirs of that estate. The personal representative, if it's within 1 year from the date of his appointment, or 3 years from his date of appointment, if he needs to sell it for expenses, he can apply for what's called the license to sell. And that's the court's permission granting the authority, or granting the personal representative the authority to sell the property. Okay, so you either need a license to sell for the PR to sell it, or the authority in a will authorize them with the power of sale. Okay. And then you have the whole estate tax issue. Unfortunately, we all live in Massachusetts. Massachusetts estate tax is predicated on a gross estate, a taxable estate goes towards a synonymous of $1 million. If you die with a gross estate, a taxable estate over $1 million, you lose the $1 million exemption. It all gets taxed. Yeah. It's not a true exemption like the federal exemption. So if someone dies within 10 years, they either need to obtain a Massachusetts estate tax release, referred to as M792, or have to file or sign and file an estate tax affidavit. Finally, the wheels of justice grind slowly. And this is where I get the frustration from all of you and your peers. We end up, as Mitchell mentioned, we end up handling a lot of probates for a lot of real estate transactions. And with the orders of complete settlement, you would think it would be something that could be done relatively quickly. But for the fact that the probate courts in Massachusetts are overwhelmed, the case managers are overwhelmed, COVID hit, everything was working remotely, they were basically working on half staff. It is literally taking us anywhere from 3 months to 8 months to get those approvals. So, a lot of times people are expecting to close, it doesn't happen.
This is actually really important. Many of you know that I'm selling my neighbor's house in Newton, and it was subjected to the license to sell, a very complicated transaction in which an end user developer wants to hurry up and buy it because the ground's great. We want to start construction. We got our permits. We want to go, go, go. Bank wants to do it as well because of bank regulations. And yet there's nothing that we can do because this special document starting with an E is sitting over in Plymouth. And then from Plymouth, it needs to come over to here. And there's not that I want to say there's no sense of urgency, but exactly with what you just said. There's really not enough people, ground people on the ground processing it as fast as you would really like. So this would be a great class because there are a lot of parents during the time of the purchasing, the last couple of years, parents have purchased homes on behalf of their children and may not have created a will yet or this or that. And if it comes to that, that 8 months is a lot. That kickout could change the whole developer, could change the net to seller in a minute, especially in a market that we just had when it was accepted in the fall. So.
So let me just, and along those lines, one of the goals as an estate planning attorney, the primary goal obviously of estate planning is to ensure that your assets reach the people you want to receive them upon your passing. Two subsidiary goals of estate planning are avoid probate and minimize and defer estate taxes. Why do we want to avoid probate? Just for the simple topic we just had, because it delays things. It may interfere with things. How do we avoid probate? Property Massachusetts passes by one of four methods. Operation of law, which we talked about, jointly owned assets, right? The second is by contract. Easiest contracts to understand are life insurance proceeds and retirement accounts where you designate a beneficiary. Contract decides where the asset goes. Third is by trust, we briefly mentioned. And the fourth is by probate. We want to avoid probate because of the delay and the cost. So those other three methods are available. Sometimes clients will say, okay, great, I'll add my kids to my bank accounts and my real estate. And I said, that's great, it avoids probate, but guess what? Now their creditors can go after your assets. Now when they get divorced, their spouse is going to go after your assets. Not a good idea. So, it basically, we have to look at what you have, what you want to accomplish, and we make our recommendations. But the ultimate goal is avoid probate and minimize and defer taxes.
So the very long and short of it is,
I love
What are
you
you saying? I
guys.
talk too much?
I think it was great. I actually think it's
No,
very knowledgeable. It's stuff that we need. I see a lot, we have maybe 15, 20 people in here, and I see a lot of people leaning in, like, tell me more, tell me more. This is something that we need to put on the calendar to learn more about, for sure.
when you engage this potential seller, you need to know, we need to know whether we have an 8-month problem or not, to put it in the most basic terms. Because it's not appropriate to list the house for obvious reasons if it's going to take 8 months to get it in a position to be sold. So it's great to get the listing. It's great to have it signed, but you got to ask the questions, because I can promise you the person you're talking to doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. That's the bottom line. You get a call from the kid, and the kid says, I'm selling my mother's house. Well, then you got to find out what happened to dad. And then there's all these, when I get a P&S, excuse me, when I get an offer and it's signed, I pull the deed, and there's 2 names on the deed as the owners, and the offer has 1 person. What happened to Jane? What happened to John? That's why you need to pull the deed, so you can ask the question, because they're not going to tell you, because they're not going to know. Okay? Because if John has probate issues and you're all set, going to have a whole open house on Sunday, not a good idea to have the open house on Sunday. At least possibly not a good idea. End of story.
As a realtor, how do we tell the seller, look, tell the seller they either have to get an estate attorney, we recommend, Carl, or how do
Well,
we
which
handle
the
this
first question you ask is, you have a deed, it has 2 people, you only have 1. Or someone is telling you that they're selling it on behalf of the deceased. First question you have is, do you have a probate attorney? And if they look at you cross-eyed, you know that the answer is no. And your answer then is, you should be talking to somebody like my friend Carl to determine what exactly the status is of the estate. Because if nothing's been done, we got some hurdles to cross. So
Some we jump relatively easily, some we don't.
Yeah.
And again, Middlesex South is probably the slowest probate court we have. Middlesex North up in Lowell, they tend to turn things around faster. Essex tends to turn things around faster. Norfolk tends to turn things around faster. But it's not like it was in the old days where we could get it in weeks. Each one is a month.
Oh, you used to be able to go into the probate court with a copy of the personal sale agreement, and you get your license to sell like that.
Yep.
Now you can't even go into the probate court because it's not necessarily open. Anyway, so it's I know it sounds involved. We're not looking for you to do all the legwork here, but we are looking for you to ask the right questions. And before anybody puts pen to paper and signs contracts, give us a call.
We do have a question, and I'm just not sure who had a question that's on Zoom. So if you could just take yourself off of mute so that you can ask Mitchell or Carl the question.
Jamie, it's Susan Donahue.
Hi,
Uh,
Susan.
I have an issue with a New Hampshire client. And the attorney said that I have to have all 3 trustees sign the listing agreement, even though one is the one handling it. So just curious if there are any New Hampshire oddities that are different from Massachusetts.
As it turns out, I'm admitted in New Hampshire as well. You know, as I mentioned briefly earlier, you know, the trust document is what dictates the authority of the trustees. So when you have a trust with multiple trustees, unless the trustee specifically states that any one trustee can bind the trust, you would need to have all of the trustees, or a majority of the trustees, depending upon the number of the trustees. By that, I mean, if there's only 2 trustees, you would need both trustees. If you have 3 trustees, you would need a majority of the trustees,
Okay.
unless the trust said you needed unanimous trustee approval.
What if the second trustee is an alternate?
And they're not a trustee.
Then they're not a trustee.
Yeah, so Susan, the bottom line story is you need to see the trust. That'll dictate to you who needs to sign.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. All right, well, thank you. So it looks like we're gonna put together a little lunch and learn on the states and wills so that,
Then you will get lunch.
yeah.
I love to eat.
Okay, and we provide the.
Thank you. Yes,
I love to eat.
All right.
no, it's good. And I think
Nice
featuring
meeting you all.
everybody, thank you. Thank you.
Let me sneak up.
All right, careful of the cords.
Yeah.
All right, so, Mark, any news that we would like to discuss?
No. In the interest of time, the only thing that I did want to say, you want to come up?
I can turn it. I can turn this.
Let me be careful. The thing that I did want to mention was Thursday, 2 Thursdays ago for our awards. First off, the leadership team did an awesome job. One thing that was a takeaway for me was that when people were coming up, when people ended the night when we had the special awards, that all of you generally seemed pleased and proud of everyone. And that's not common in real estate companies. Normally there's jealousy. Every realtor will like you until you sell more than they do. And once you sell more than they do, then you become an arch nemesis, right? But I was just super proud to be up there and watching your faces and how proud you were of your coworkers and your family. And it's really nice to witness that because it's not common to see. And that's it.
Thank you. Susan. Hi, Susan.
Hi, so a couple of, on a lighter topic than law, I was just thinking about message and mindset, and a couple of mentors' messages have come across my screen lately. I thought I would share. One of my mentors, Matthew Ferrara, who's an old friend of mine from when he was 18 years old. I've known him. I'm proud to say that I launched his career in real estate. But he's a philosopher, a photographer. A lot of you guys might know who he is, but his message recently just resonated with me. And a couple of people in the market center shared it. But he was talking about our messaging, and it came full circle back to our mindset. So, you know, what comes out of our mouth comes out of our head. And he's talking about the negative messaging of shortage of inventory, lack of places to go, you know, lack of opportunity, you know, all the negative messages. You can go on. And he just completely flipped it on its head and was talking about how this is some of the words he used was high velocity market, price power for the sellers. And he gave, there were benefits to buyers and sellers to take advantage of the market today. You know, buying an appreciating asset, huge benefit to a buyer, and that we have to just really be careful, because I've been talking to my team, sometimes I feel like I'm at it. I'm like, we can't I keep hearing this message about shortage and all this. I just didn't know how to turn it around until Matt really made, so I will, anyone that wants to see.
Bill
his
Faulkner
message-
actually posted it on our internal
He
Facebook.
does a weekly
I saw
video,
it.
and it was on his January, he actually put this video up January 3rd, and he reposted it last week because it's so relevant to today. So,
You share that with us, because John.
Yeah, I
mentioned
can
it too, but
It's
yeah,
on
I can
Facebook,
share it
guys.
on the KWC.
On our
website.
Facebook page.
Yeah, I'll send it on
Everyone
the-
is included in our Facebook page.
Oh, all right.
So
it was on Bill's
it's quite,
Bill posted it.
it's
on
quite
Bill's,
excellent.
But I can see it on there.
All right,
You
you
can
listen
see
to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The-
John said
The
it.
thing
It's
with
on
him,
there
if you
already.
don't know who this person is, it's exactly with what you just said about talking at people versus with people. He is very great at just talking the market in a way that you can understand. He is not over talking the market where some people can do that because they forget their audience. He just lays it out, and it's as simple as can be. We complicate it. The seller complicates it, the buyer complicates it, sometimes the attorney, not Mitchell, but they complicate it, not Jason, but the lender. Like, people like to complicate stuff. I don't know why. They like chaos. People like to live in chaos. And he says it's our job to just kibosh it and to lead and direct it. So he's phenomenal. I'll take the video and the link. I'll send it out as an email. But if you don't subscribe to him, he's definitely somebody that I would definitely think that would work for everybody.
There was just
Universally.
a second one. I'll mention it very quickly because it ties right back into what we were talking about interest rates, and we were talking about, how they are up. Clearly, the message from, it was from Sean Rawls, actually, and he said, later is now. He said, the shoe finally dropped, or the bell finally rang, because we've had low interest rates now for 5 or 6 years. The rates are going up, and they're saying now they want to accelerate it, but it's 6 times in a 12-month period, rates are going to go up. People who have been saying later, and I don't know about you, but I've been talking to a lot of them, and later, when there's pressure in the market, they'll hold on to what they have, and those sellers especially are sitting, and we can see it through, through the absorption rates, that sellers are sitting on the sidelines, and their later is now. I mean, that's really the message. It was a great message because, and it's not for everybody, but if they're going to be paying more money for anything, they're gonna get a mortgage when they buy, and they're sellers buying, or they're first-time buyers, or move up or move down. Later is now. Now is the time for them to make their decisions. The other thing Matt said was I lost.
He
my
said,
thought.
because you just reminded me, he said, it all levels out, whether you buy now, you buy later.
Yeah.
It's the length. So if you think about, it's a heightened market and people were overpaying as buyers, but they got a great interest rate. So their prices are low today, but they're paying longer. And if it reverses, you're paying a little bit higher for less. Like, it kind of washes itself out, like on buy and sell side. But he does a really great piece on that balance.
Yeah.
That's also Matt as well. So thank you. That's a great piece of advice. All right, so I'm gonna spin this. Kate, do we have any updates from,
Yes.
I am dancing. I have a torn meniscus here, folks, and I have cords everywhere. So maybe I'll work from home for 3 months. No, I'm just joking. Kate, do we have any updates other than the class that I'm going to talk about on the next slide about your DocuSign? Like anything that
Oh,
you want?
my minute?
Yes.
Oh, my minute, okay. I do have 2 things for my
You
minute.
do have your minute right here. Okay.
So I was talking to Mark. Good morning, everybody. First of all, if you were not at the award ceremony and you did receive an award, which I hope you would know, but if you don't, you can come see me. I have those awards in my office. We want to make sure they get to you. So please stop in. If you have offices and you weren't allowed to be, I dropped them in your office for you. So those have already been distributed. And second of all, real quick, when you send me a check request, however you want to do it, I've left that up to you, whether it's email, commission statement, or you upload it into Command, however you want to do it. If you could please just be a little bit specific. If you tell me you need a check to cut to Coldwell Banker, that requires me researching, which of course I can do, no big deal. But I like to crank out the checks and have them all ready for you guys. And that's just one thing that kind of stops. And I have to go into MLS, find out who the co-broke is. Sometimes I have to look it up by the phone number because it just says, it does the same thing. It just says a group or, a brokerage, but it doesn't say specifically which one it is. So if you could be specific on that. And also if I'm mailing excess funds check, if you could just send me the address so that I can get that excess funds out to people immediately, that would be wonderful.
It might help for you if you send out like a standard commission form, like I've been using the one from Jet Hamilton. 'Cause
Yep.
That has everything.
We do have, there's one in the, if you use DocuSign, it's in the Market Center specific library. It's in there, but I can send one out by email so everyone can have it at their, Yep.
It would make your job
yeah.
so
And
much
commission statements are fine as well. It'd be helpful if we were specific about.
It's
where
actually
everything we're
more
going.
than helpful. I'm listening to her minutes right now as your team leader, and I'm gonna actually maybe backtrack a little bit. It's your responsibility. Like, I swear to God, it really is your responsibility, guys, that if you're working with somebody from Coldwell Banker, we have to know that it's the Linfield Coldwell Banker. We need to know that it's Jamie Camerata. If it's the Jamie Camerata team, then I need to know that it's Mark Mulcahy that I'm doing a deal with on the Jamie Camerata team at the Coldwell Banker of the Linfield. It's like we learned this when
Yeah,
we were
We've been very
younger about
generic
head,
instead of
shoulders, knees,
specific.
like all of it works together. And
I
so
never thought of that
I'm
before.
sorry.
No, that's
I
fine.
appreciate that she's doing that. However, in order to run an effective market center for you guys too, if Kate's spending her time doing that, welcome back, Megan. Did you miss this? I don't know where it comes from sometimes, but just, it's not even about being detailed. You have to get organized as a real estate agent if you're not doing these things, because it is your job in order for us to effectively be able to do it. Because the checks, when Kate was away, it's the one thing that Ashley and I learned. When your MCA is away, that's her field. That's what she does. She does a great job at that. I don't want to do that ever. Ever. And Ashley and I had to work really well together to figure out the discombobulation of figuring out your DocuSign folders, your this, your that. When you're creating a folder, you can't call it Jamie Camerata. You can't. If you're going to, when you send it to Kate, you have to call it 123 Main Street, because I don't know who Jamie Camerata is. If you have 15 closings, Jamie Camerata could be one of the 15. So it might sound like you guys are like, oh my God, is she really talking about this? Actually, yes, because as we're growing our office, which we're going to make a huge announcement, we have more and more agents coming. We have more and more producing people. We are number one in the area, which we're going to get to. And in order for that to happen, you just got to get more detailed and organized. I know, or hire an assistant or a transaction coordinator. So, Kate, thank you. All right, so. Well, how to get paid and organize yourself. Hello. Tuesday, April 5th. If you need some other tricks and tips and all that fun stuff, please come to this class at 11 o'clock. These are all on your app. I'm going to whip through a lot of these. We make these pretty flyers because we like to have learnings everywhere. But in your app is the best place to go. If you haven't downloaded the KW Success app, with permission here or in live in the classroom, download the KW Success app, go to the training calendar. It says training. It looks like a calendar. Pick today's date. Guess what's there? Boom. The Zoom link. Don't send us an email. Where's the Zoom link? You go look at your email and find the Zoom link. We sent it 500 times. Text it. This one, that one. I just got a text right now while having this meeting. Can you send me the Zoom link? No, I'm actually doing it. I'm doing it right now. So our Agent Leadership Council, we had a great team building activity that we ran up at Tuscan Kitchen. If you haven't been to Tuscan Kitchen, it's a great client appreciation place and if you want the pricing, come see me. But we made pasta together. We learned how pasta comes together, how you make it. We all made our own. We broke bread We did mixology. It was awesome. And when you think about the ingredients of, especially baking, so if you're a baker, you're going to understand this. There's a reason why it tells you like step by step by step, because you have to do it in that order for the baking process to occur the perfect way. That's why a lot of people are like, I either like baking or I don't. I can tell who you are as a person. If you're like, I love to cook, but I don't like to bake. I'm like, oh, not detailed, want to rush through, throw it all in. That's me, by the way. There are people that are on this Zoom. That's me. But I do bake good chocolate chip cookies because I have to follow the instructions. And so food is the same thing in your clients. And that's what we were trying to bring together, that if you chintz a little bit over here, it shows up over here. If you don't do the right thing, if you don't do the right order, if you forget a step, you're going to get what you get and you can't get upset. And so sometimes that can cause problems in your transactions. So it was a great team building. We have a lot of great things. Our fund committee, our KW Cares, we all have stuff going on. So we're going to start with Gloricel and Art to come on up. Heidi's here to come on up. And then we do have others on Zoom. So come on up and share meetings, what's going on, and then I'll kind of finish with KW Cares. Next slide. Obviously, some people need to get some stuff out of their system. So, Gloricel.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Hello. Hello.
Everybody.
Hello. I missed last meeting because I was driving. I was going 80 miles an hour, but I'm here. All right. So Arthur and I want to invite you all to axe throwing April 7th. We're going to start at 6 p.m. But I told them to, I guess, you know, I was like, oh, can we just get there at 5 p.m. so we can have some drinks, get a little, yeah. I don't know, that's
Water.
Alcohol and sharp objects, it's a great combination.
Ice water,
They used to be like nurses and doctors.
Oh, good.
We got you covered. I'm a trauma nurse, so
We got
we're
you
good.
covered. So at 5 p.m. they're gonna have a little area for us so we can have some alcohol, get happy, and then we're gonna start some axe throwing.
Yeah, it's a really fun event. I'm looking forward to being, anybody in the room have been there? Axe throwing. So this one's going to be held at Wicked Axe. It's in Haverhill, so it's right in the same complex as the bowling alley that
Yeah.
is a candlepin bowling.
From 1980. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. So it's a great. I've been there several times with clients and friends and family, so it's a phenomenal time. So looking forward to seeing you guys there.
Yes. So please register so that way we know the amount of people that we're gonna have that.
So it's April 7th, starting at 5. Axes start flying at 6.
Yes.
Okay.
Get ready for the competitions.
That's right. None of us are
Excellent.
competitive.
I
are we?
know, right? Heidi.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, everybody. So Greg and I are with the Finance Committee, and right now, Greg has been doing some research to bring something to the market center with profits first. So we just have to figure out in which way, via Zoom or in person. And actually, we are meeting today at 1. So if anybody wants to come and listen in, we meet here or via Zoom. I sent out the link yesterday. So,
Thank
thanks.
you. All right, so this is perfect because some of the slides that are coming up next are going to talk about profit and MREI and things like that. So we'll kind of go. So Red Day is coming May 12th. I thought I said February 12th, but it's May 12th. And we are having our KW Cares meeting to discuss where do we want to give our time this year. And so we do have some announcements. As you know, before COVID, we opened up a Methuen Business Center. And so the business center is up and running. People do use it. There's a conference room. There's 6 rotating desks that you can come and work. You can meet your clients. There's a lockbox. We give you access to that. And so I'm going to be making another announcement in a minute. And so this will be a powerful meeting because we want to see where do we want to put our time into which community and give back that day. And so it starts at 8:30. Light breakfast and stuff is provided. We go out, we work in the community, we collaborate, team build, and then we come back to the market center around 12:30, 1 o'clock, enjoy some lunch, and then you can continue on your real estate way. So if you can make it, this one will be in person. So this KW Cares meeting will be here in person, as you can see, and it's blocked for all of you. So you guys want, nobody in here is coming to it. Hold on one second. I hate when it's up there. All right, so it's also on the 7th from 10 to 11 with me, so. All right. Command Boot Camp was a big success. Ashley teaches this. If you haven't even exposed yourself to Command, I have to say, now is the time to really jump on Command. If your team leader's using it, it works. I'm just going to tell you that. Did you ever hear me say I was using it? The only thing you ever heard me say is I was using it for running ads and campaigns. That's as pretty much as where I got. But if we're using it for running smart plans, which a smart plan, all a smart plan is organizing that in your head. You're like, I would love to have an email sent out after my open house that I don't even have to think about, that I made yesterday, that says, thank you so much for coming to 123 Main Street. So you set it up on Saturday to be sent on when? Sunday. So you send it. The email goes out. Awesome. I wish I could get a text message on Monday over to everybody saying, reminder, all offers are due if you're still interested in 123 Main Street. That's what this does. And it literally takes 10 minutes on a Saturday before an open house to set up how you want this to go. Now, many of you complained when it first launched and said, yeah, but then I have to run into my Command platform and open up my laptop and go to Command and stop them from being on this subscribed smart plan because I've already talked to them. And Art's holding his phone up right now because when somebody connects with him, he just has to go to the KW Command app. It's just your app. It talks to the portal and goes to the client, unsubscribe, stop sending stuff right then and there. So if you're not using this, and this is overwhelming, Ashley is a great instructor. She's extremely patient. She knows everything so far about Command. She's going to be teaching the boot camp in May. And why is it in May? Because we're giving you a month to put it in your calendar now so that it's not 2 weeks from now, May 3rd, 4th, 5th, from 1 to 3. She's also created an amazing brochure piece and screenshotted all the steps. So after you're done with class and you're like, I can't even remember what she did on step 3, it's on page 9. It's on page 10. It's already screenshotted for you to be able to do. Tomorrow, if you've signed up at 9:30 in person only, CEU credits for disclosures with Andy. So I know a lot of you are doing that. Bold is back. So Building a Life by Design. This is an amazing product that Keller Williams has. I used to love when it was in person. It's huge accountability, scripts, objection handling, getting listings, working with buyers, and you get your money back. There's a Bold reimbursement policy. So if you're interested and you know nothing about it, just go to the free first step. Whether you want to go in person, Beverly Market Center is hosting it. That's only 45 minutes from here. If you don't want to do it in person, they still offer this online. We'll get you the link for that as well. Branding your business. Many of you talk to us about, I wish that I had a great signature piece. And then that signature piece was on Facebook and all of my marketing was branded and just mainstreamed. Great. Ashley's going to be teaching a class in April to talk about how to brand yourself, where to find inexpensive people to create a logo on third-party platforms if that's what you're looking for. Or Canva is amazing. It's a product that's built right there for you. I was just playing with it yesterday and I just made this awesome emblem for new business cards for what I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. And so I couldn't believe it. I was impressed. I mean, 30 seconds.
Second day is all Canva pretty much.
It took me 30 seconds. I was like, I love it. It's so great. Like you don't even have to work that hard. You just have to change it to your name, change it to your logo. So that's coming down the pike as well. All right, important. We always talk about the MREA. So that's the big red book. That's how an individual agent can grow their business with the 3 L's: listing, lead, leverage. Awesome. The series is coming back live on Zoom through the region. Who teaches it? team leaders, productivity coaches, people who do over 10 million, operating principals, people that are doing stuff at a high level. You join it or watch the recordings. This is value. This is definitely value add. It breaks down the book. And the instructors talk with you, not at you, so that you can understand what that red book is really all about. But as people start thinking about flipping and investing, which is exactly what the finance committee, other than profit and loss, you want to learn how to invest. And so many of you have never really seen this blue book, but this blue book was also created and has not been broken down at a high level regionally in a long time. I absolutely love Gene Rivers. He is super smart. He has a personality, so it's definitely never boring. Direct to the point, offers a lot of value. If there was anything, whether it was MREA, whether it was Bold, me, this one. If you were going to pick one, I'm telling you as team leader, if you haven't read it, it's okay. Go to Gene to understand it, then go back to read it. Now, this is like $40 because this is like an instructor manual. But if that's you, you can still buy this. Let us know. We'll put it on your tab. We'll order it through KWRI. You want it off of Amazon Prime, 15 to 20 bucks. Go get your copy of this. This will go out today. The Eventbrite link just went live. That is both in person and via Zoom. So it is hybrid, and they are only allowing 50 people for social distancing purposes into the event. So if you're thinking about doing it live, please go to the link this afternoon. All right, so then that's too overwhelming. I don't have time for a book. I don't have time for a day. Okay, Mark King, who is our CEO, this person, runs this amazing every Friday. It's every Friday at 8:30 a.m. live. He talks it's wealth building 2.0. So if you're a Facebook person, type in wealth building 2.0. If that's too much for you, text Jamie Camerata and say, add me to the group. I'll add you to the group. When I add you to the group, in your notifications of Facebook, it says Jamie's added, do you accept it? Jump in 8:30 every morning. Mark, it's so good what he shares. And remember, I mean, his path to success is an amazing story. And so he was grinding, and he tried the TL thing and he grinded that. And he tried this and he grinded at that. Everything he's learned, he actually teaches you, especially about wealth building and all the ancillary areas that you can wealth build, not just through working in your job every day. So I suggest you go to this if you're looking to do that. Okay, so big announcement. Same outfit. That's why I'm all wired up. I was up at 5. I was making this video at 8:30. All right, so we do have a big announcement that we would love to share with you. So I'm just going to press play on myself, and hopefully this will work. Good morning, everybody. This is Jamie, your team leader, here with some exciting breaking news. A huge announcement. As you know, we have a Methuen location, and if you don't know, well, that's not the breaking news. But recently, as of yesterday, we just signed a lease for the newest location in Drayton. So we wanted to do this live, but obviously I wouldn't be at the shareholder meeting if I did it live. This is pre-recorded this morning, 8:30. I'd love to see and show you where our newest location is. So come check it out. Congratulations, 7 Broadway in Drayton. These awnings will be changed to say Keller Williams Realty. We are really excited to bring this to the Drayton community, and we would love to grow it and fill it with agents, and we need your help. So how can you help and support us? Who do you know that needs to be in business with us at Keller Williams and would love to be at the Drayton location? Send me an email, send me a text. Let's get the word out. And in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have some ribbon cutting ceremonies for Drayton, Methuen, promotional videos, and more. We're really excited, and we hope you are too. Have a great day. That was after like 3 cups of coffee, by the way. Just gonna let you know. So obviously, but listen, this is why we're excited, because people are attracted to our model, and everybody has an objection handler. You're not close near me. You don't have something in this town. You're on the other side of 495. Well, if I can get through all their other objection handlers and then we bring something to them, now what's your objection? And so once this caught on, I know that you read the email that we welcome 2 new agents, Tim and Karen. And they are not a team, they're separate identities. And they both came from what we call competing company. And that has created a lot of momentum and traction. And we're about to announce 1 more at the end of the week. And we're about to announce 2 more after that the following week. And that has all created because of the buzz of what we do here. So that's why it's important to get your act together, please, in the Kate department. And then now's the time, because I don't go down as a sponsor. Very rarely. I know you think it's crazy, but it's very, very rare. If I got an appointment from Gloracell and someone loves me, I'm like, listen, I know you think it's me and I'm going to coach you and it's this and that, but we wouldn't even be here today if it wasn't for who? Gloracell. Now, I have that conversation. And so as we start to grow Methuen and continue, and as we start to grow the Straight Git community, there is still some other opportunities. And some of you in this room know where those opportunities are, that we would love to see another business location. That takes a momentum like this of people of capping status, producing agents, because as you know, with our model, they are all under the Andover umbrella. But the Andover profit share and owner profit pays for these locations as expenses. So they have to be approved. And we don't want to spend all this money to go open stuff if we don't have money to cover it. But if I attract a talented agent who is a capper, how much company dollar have I attracted to our umbrella? 24,000. So if my rent is $1,500 a month, my expenses and everything is $3,000 a month times 12 months. What's that? Now times that by 4. 144, but let's go with the 150 for just simple numbers, okay? So why do we times it by 4? Because we're gonna have gaps in our business. And so even though we wanna, it's like owning in a property. They're gonna teach you that in the MREI. When you're trying to cover your expenses, you don't wanna just cover your expenses. You need money to stay in there for accidents, for roof, for this, for maintenancing. Okay, so you times it by 4. Can you times it by 3? Yes, 4 is a great number to do it for. So it costs 150,000 potentially, even though we know each year it's going to cost 36. So I have 150,000. How many cappers do I need to attract?
6.3.
6 cappers at 20. Engineer, numbers, anything you need. That's why she's part of the finance committee and runs it. That's Heidi. So we need 6 cappers. Jamie, I don't know 6 cappers, but I want to open up, I don't know. I don't even want to give it, let's just say we want to open up town A, because I don't want to be like, can we open up a town there? Town A, can we get a business center there? Let's do the numbers. If we can attract that dollar amount, and we can, and you have powerful people that are influenced, that people are going to be like, ooh, why did Megan decide to do that? Why did Mark decide to do that? I need to have that conversation. I can't even keep up with the calls right now. Ashley and Kate and Mark know this, and Susan now knows it from my text last night. The easiest conversation is, I got to tell you something. My name's Jamie Camerata. I have a huge opportunity. We're opening up in 45 days in your backyard, and I wouldn't want you to miss out. Sure, I'll hear it, because they can be part of it. So that momentum of passive income, forget profit share. All right, profit share, I don't know, profit share is here. It's passive income, guys, and it's yours. And so if you know anybody in those areas, if there's anybody that you're talking to, if there's anyone that you think would be a good fit, this is quality versus quantity. Don't give me the person that you're like, that's going to be the cancer inside the market center. No, thanks. I have enough problems. I don't want that. We want quality. Okay. So congratulations. We're really excited to be in business with everybody and to help grow. So our newest agents from, this is March, February, Louis, Megan, and Patricia. Megan's sitting here. Megan was part of KW prior to, but realized the grass isn't greener. No, she moved into her own community. So she was here at KW and then, you know, wanted to be at a small boutique in her community because it fit what she needed at the time. And it did. She learned a lot there. And then she realized, I also need some of these ancillary services and I need this and I need this and I need this. And so that Red Rover game from 1985 when I was younger, that's what happened. And so welcome. And she'll also be working with the Art of the Sale team because she's also transitioning into what role title? Executive assistant, yes. And so congratulations. All right, market reports. So these are here printed live in the office for all of you if you want them immediately, because I am busy today and I won't get it to you till this afternoon. So you ask the local area. Remember, the local area grid is the Methuen, Lawrence, North Andover, Haverhill, Drake, like where we have our franchise agreement. If you want to pull in something that hasn't been claimed yet, Tewksbury is a location that is another Drake location that kind of sits in the middle of everybody, but there's nobody that kind of, it claims it, but it's not claimed. It's kind of Andover, but it's still unclaimed in our region. So when we add Tewksbury, knowledge, it was on the original. And so now that we've gotten all the cobwebs of horrible leadership out, we figured, okay, so this is exactly a clear delineated line of what is actually there. Drake gets one of them too. Whereas we thought Drake, it was in our grid as well, and that we own that because we actually used to have a business center there. So moving forward, if you want to add Drake it to this for market share reports or add Tewksbury, you can. And do I think that there should be a Haverhill Business Center someday? Do I think that maybe there should be a Tewksbury Business Center someday? Yes. In 3 years, are we closing everyone down because God forbid another COVID 5.0 happens and we're all working remote? I don't know what the future holds, but right now that momentum, that's how you create it if you're interested in those opportunities. So these graphs that I'm going to go through are for total number, list number, so listings and on the buy side by office. And as you can see, this is just year to date. These are just year to date, so that you have the real numbers based on our franchise grid. That this is where our numbers are. For market share, we're at 6.4%. The average price right now is $487. That closes. This is all also taken from MLS. This isn't like hidden data anywhere. Commissions, we're going to work on that. All right, I'm going to teach an exclusive buyer class on how to get your exclusive contract signed at 3%. Okay, so that I'm definitely going to do that. And days on market about 42. And the money for the agent side of commissions and whatnot is there. When you break it down, by the way, because I started to before the meeting, we actually are number one. We're number 3, and we're close for number 3 if you just pull Andover. If you put Andover, North Andover, we're at 2. And, you know, yesterday I got a text message from one of our agents who is on Zoom about screenshotted. We're the number 1 in the area. Everyone's number 1. It's just how you do the Rubik's Cube. Everyone's number 1. So spin it however you want, but everybody's number 1. And so if you want these graphs about market share, this is where it's at. This is what we're projecting. This is the total units in terms of buy offices, and this is the total volume, and the others had everything on there. Now, your KW internal offices within our company, this is what we like to track because this is going to project the expenses. This is going to project our company dollar, and that's why we do a profit and loss, because we need to figure out who we're spending money on, where we're cutting expenses. Closed units in February, this year 60, last year 54. That's still strong. That's still great.
Yeah, we bounced back.
Yeah. Thank the goodness. Okay. Closed volume. You can see the difference here. Fantastic. I mean, we're still kind of in that market that's saturated and a little overpriced and overbid. Listings taken. So last February, we took 39. This year, 36. We can't let that happen. I will not let that happen as a team leader. This commission conversation about, well, they're doing this percent. What are you talking about? The standard at Keller Williams should be just like it is at Cole Banker, which is 5% non-negotiable. And if you want to hear a story, then you can reach out to Mary because she knows a perfect story about a Cole Banker situation and a William Rafa situation and a seller trying to talk to everybody. And in the end, how much did that seller sign for? 5%, even though they were nickel and diming and try to get, you can't do that. When the industry and the standards are there and everyone's supporting each other, you should be getting 5. If you want to take 4, you're allowed to do that. But why? So what I am going to run a class on that and on the exclusive buyer contract, because I want you to make more money in a market that potentially could start to slide down. You're not going to feel it that much in your bank account and your families, because if you're getting a little bit more in your commission while the market's going down a little bit on volume, it's going to be better than if you're staying where you are and then something happens quickly to the market. Okay. So listing taken volume, listing sold. So 22, that's great. Contracts written 52 to 49. That's great. That means they're staying there. We're not just writing them and they're disappearing. And closed GCI, great. But that's also driving from the volume, not your percentages, because I looked. Okay, first listings, congratulations. You'll notice that Tatiana just joined and is already crushing it. Congratulations. And Daria, so congratulations on your first listings. And then check this out. Oh wait, go back. Where's my slide? Yeah, so first listings and first closings.
Wow.
So congratulations to both of you, because I know that everyone's hustling, but to be newer agents and stuff and to get that momentum, it's all about momentum, is so fantastic. Congratulations to Susan for top profit share earner, which can be yours now that you have other areas that we can start talking to. Congratulations to Heidi for top individual closed volume. All right, and I do like to play this game, as you know. So how much volume did, you probably know your numbers, by the way, so you can't say them. So closed volume for the month of February, being an ALC member, I should just put her on the spot, but I won't. What was it? Top individual. 2 million, four, that's capping. 4, that's capping, that's a great. Which email did we just congratulate somebody for? Was it Sadie's in so many days?
Sadie's capped in 2.5 months.
In 2.5 months. I mean, I know we've had sooner here, but 2.5 months. So that would be 1.4 million and change, if you want to be exact. Under 1,488,173. Congratulations. Top team for close volume. Congratulations with how much money do you think? So now this is a team. No, this is confusing. Everyone's like, what's a team? What's a group? What does it qualify? So team, wait, would you say 1.3? 3.2. Okay. 1,550,000. Congratulations to the Susan Sells team in the month of February. And for the top group, more. 4,950,950. Congratulations to 5. Tree top group, 5 million. It's like being on Price is Right when that person's like, we'll take $1. I'm like, they cheated. That shouldn't even be allowed anymore. Congratulations. Hold on. It's page 3, page 4. All right. So closed units. Congratulations. There was a tie for 3 units closed. Neat. Back button. Heidi and Anna, congratulations in the month of February. So top team closed units. So how much did the top team close? Susan Sells, how much volume did we say?
1.7.
No, 1.4, 1.55, okay. And those are some heavy hitters because it's Susan Sells again, and it's 2 units closed. So again, that's why I always love these, because you never know. You're like, oh, that person, it doesn't matter. That 2 could equal top. It could be 1, it could be 7. You just don't know. Congratulations for top group closed units. And that was 12 units. Congratulations to Treetop Group. $1 million listed in 1 month. That's always a plus. Congratulations to Robin Renahan and Jen Hamilton Bauer. In February, nonetheless, let's just be real. If you're listing anything in Q1, that's it. Like, if you're listing anything, it's great. Don't get me wrong. But especially in Q1, January, February, March, where usually that's the mindset that we have that we're not doing like a lot of production. It's not true. It's like so changed now that there's production going all year round. Congratulations to $1 million listed groups, Treetop, DNA, the Marin Group, and Faulkner and Associates, all listed as well. $1 million in, or over $1 million in, you know, in whatever. Yeah. Why is this like so? I think it's the leprechaun thing. All right, $1 million sold. So they actually closed $1 million in that month. So congratulations to Heidi, Al Bowden, and Anna. And so if Heidi and Anna were also listing over $1 million, they're selling over $1 million. Think of that momentum, right? Congratulations, and congratulations to Al. $1 million sold teams, obviously then that would be Susan Sells. Congratulations as well. And $1 million sold groups. Here we are. Congratulations to the Physicality team, Team Ortega, Faulkner and Associates, the Loriano team, and Treetop Group. So congratulations. I want to just do a quick thank you so much, and Mark already did it, but we felt like we had a lot of great feedback for the awards gala. And that's awesome. We're always looking for positive feedback. And sometimes we also need the what can we improve feedback.
Look at the centerpiece.
That would be Miss Ashley. Ashley did a fantastic job taking the theme, doing it up, figuring it out, Pinteresting it, meshing it. And so it takes a team of people. And so again, thank you so much for those that volunteered their time in any shape, form, capacity for putting this together. The link is out for the pictures. And so I believe we sent it, 'cause I saw something.
Everything's on Facebook.
Perfect.
Just download the JPEG.
So if, and we'll send it in the email with the recap today because it is a big file. So if you're looking for your professional pictures, they are here. They look fantastic. And these were just some that we picked really quickly. So the night before, as you know, were our regional events. And those were the regional awards for our region. And I really like this slide because, and I know you guys are looking at me. I hate this thing. Let's go. How do I do it? Oh, that's good. I see nobody. So right now, the total KW agent count as of December 31st, just in our region was over 6,000 KW associates. And for individual agents of the 6, so add them all up backwards, it should get you that number, which came from the region. So if it doesn't, talk to the region. Individual agents, 4,988 individual agents. So for teams, there are 59 teams in individual teams, correct. Teams, 182, and groups, 244. And so with that, we did receive some emails saying that a lot of our agents would be awarded, and we didn't know what they were at the time because they didn't release that. I don't know how that happened, but they just didn't release it to the region, to the team leaders. So congratulations to Jennifer Hamilton Bauer, because overall last year, she was number 3 in listings taken, number 5 in listings taken volume in the entire New England region. And so that is a huge accomplishment. And we have more. So this all finally came out. Top 10% of the New England region, everybody. So Art Durkin, Daisy and Leo, Deb Higgins is in here, DNA Realty Group, Faulkner Commercial Group, Jen Hamilton Bauer, Susan Sells, Team Ortega, the Physicality team, the Loriano team, the Marin Group, the Treetop Group, all came in top 10%. So that's a huge accomplishment as well. Congratulations. These are all on Facebook. The Millionaires Club, as you know, Jeffrey Loriano won this award this year, and Treetop Realty Group as well. In past, congratulations. Listings taken for individual volume in the region. Jennifer Hamilton Bauer was number 4 for listings taken out of how many associates? 6,000 something, and then out of individual 4,000 something. Huge accomplishment. Congratulations. Listings sold for individual units. Jen was number 7 overall out of 4,000. Listings sold individual, number 5. Jen must do something right, And I'm gonna say something about Jen, because if you don't know Jen, some of, I don't, how do you not know Jen? But everyone knows Jen. And she doesn't make it complicated. Okay, she's not doing the MREA. She's not following any model but what she was taught as a legacy model growing up in the industry with her mom being in the real estate industry, to be honest with you. And so growing up in Methuen, consistent marketing, being on the boards, being part of Central Catholic, doing the right thing, volunteering, it's referral. She's that great. Jen's not picking up the phone. I guarantee you, I can say that, okay? She's not picking up the phone around any of her listings or any of on the buy side. Did you know you pick up the phone on a sell side? Like when you have a buyer, I would call that neighborhood, because whoever that list agent was, I know they ain't calling it. People are afraid of the phone. Everyone likes text, everyone likes video, they like email, they don't want to pick up the phone. So this is organically created. And so if you ever have any questions about the non-complexity of how she does things, meet with her and she'll show you how she does it, but she is consistent. So her momentum has always been consistency. And so don't get overwhelmed on, I have to post on Facebook, I have to do this, I have to do that, this one's doing this. Do you just do it really well and be consistent about it. So congratulations to Jen, because she just cleaned house up at that regional awards event. And then we're gonna end off with happy February birthdays. And if you do see smiley faces, it's because we don't have an updated photo. So Frank, we have to get yours, and there's a great one that was taken from the awards. So if you want to use that one, please give it to us. But congratulations and happy birthday to all of our babies in February. And congratulations for anniversaries. So anniversaries, I love looking at this because you're just committed to the company. I mean, Deb, you've been here 10 years. Like 10 years committed, dedicated to the company. It adds value. It excites her, the culture, the camaraderie. Bill, 8 years. We got Emery just, 1 year. Jonathan, we have 6 years. And so on this one, wait, do you have any? So Deb is 10 years here. Last month, we had somebody 18 years. And so all the 1 years, I want to see it 10 years. And the 10 years, don't go anywhere. I want to see you at 20 years too. So congratulations. And that's it. Do we have anything to share here inside of the training room live? So I can spin this around. Listings, buyers, a need, a want, something of value, and we'll just go from there. And then anybody that's on Zoom that would like to raise their hand, Ashley will be watching the screen, put in the chat something to say, and I'll just call your names as we are finished in here, if you don't mind. So without tripping and falling. Okay, Lori.
I have a 2-bedroom cottage coming on in Salem, New Hampshire for $450. It's only about 800 square feet. It's on a very, very level lot. So if you have any questions or have any buyers,
Perfect.
it'll be on next week.
Next week. Okay. Art.
I have 3 coming on. I've got one in Andover. It's going to be on Ballard Vale. It's a really nice Cape, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, right? About 2,300 square feet. It's going to come on just south of 900. I've got 2 condos coming on the market at the American Textile Museum in Lowell. Just totally redone, and they'll be coming on likely in the next 2 weeks. Totally redone floors, really nicely done vaulted ceilings.
What's the price?
Those are going to come on just south of 4.
And what, do you know what the HOA is or the condo fees?
HOA.
They're still getting it
Still
back.
getting that.
Okay. Okay, good. Congratulations.
Anything else? That's it for now. 2 more.
On this side, any sharing? Yes, Mary.
And Atkinson coming on, we're going to list it Saturday, open house showing start Sunday. 2-bedroom, 2-bath. We'll be pricing it at $380. The HOA is $305, and it's in beautiful, beautiful condition. It's about 30 years old. It's an end unit, a lot of sunlight, windows, hardwood floor throughout, and some of the flooring is brand new, the hardwood flooring. Relatively new furnace and central AC within the past couple of years. And the seller is a gardener, so she'll be leaving beautiful perennials that we have photos of. They're not in bloom yet. But if you have anyone interested, again, priced at $380, give me a call. If you're not able to accompany your buyers, give me a call. Open house is Sunday. I'll be happy to take them through.
Which community is that?
In Atkinson.
Which?
Waterloo, it's near the Salem line. You know, I forget, Vivian, but near the Salem line.
Sorry, I'm sure you can look it up and give it to Vivian right after
Yes.
the
Okay, great.
meeting.
Thank you.
Perfect. Deb?
I have a multifamily coming on in Winthrop, 4 bedrooms, 1 bath in each unit, water views right up, you can see the ocean. Great opportunity potentially to condoize. Been owned by the same family for about 60 years. And we'll have first showings this weekend. I'll have 2 open houses Saturday and Sunday. And then I have a condo coming on.
How much is the 4-family Winthrop?
It's a 2-family.
2-family,
yeah,
4-bedroom,
$899.
$899.
What will condos go that for, or if you condoize it?
$450, $550 on the water.
More than that.
That's-
That's just work. We just did one for $750.
I just saw one.
Oh, that's right. That is true.
It went for $750.
It will
Yeah.
go in a millisecond.
Because you would have to put quite some money into condo. Everything's already separated, so all the utilities are separate.
That's permitting.
What's
Yeah.
that?
I said that when it's done that way, I mean, that's just permitting money, not separating it money.
Yeah, I meant updating probably.
How updated is it?
There's hardwood floors throughout. The kitchens could use updating. One of the bathrooms is very updated, one isn't. So not, actually, it's pretty nice. And it has
Yeah,
a
still at that
yard.
price if you put
It has
100,000
a
into it.
2-car garage. It has plus 2 parking spots in front of the garage. And then if you wanted to actually park tandem in the driveway, you could have another 4 spots.
Is it on the list?
It was, it's coming soon. It actually flipped to on the market.
Okay, I'll send it to somebody that I have in mind.
Perfect.
I also have a condo in Tewksbury that will be coming on tomorrow, and that is, if anybody's familiar with Tewksbury, it's in Cotton Green. And very nice condos, great community, have had all the work done, pet friendly. That would be 1 Patrick Road, that will be coming on at 419. That's 2 bedroom, 1.5 bath, and that will be coming on tomorrow.
What's the price on that?
That one's 419.
And what's the association fee?
290.
$290.
It's actually a great complex.
Yeah.
Tewksbury has a lot of condo complexes and it's one of my favorites. People go there and they typically don't leave.
Yeah. Excellent. Congratulations. Anyone else on this side? No. Okay.
I have a house I have to declutter.
Mm-hmm.
It's not mine. And I'm looking for referrals for
Like junk baby or something.
dump guy. It's not a question of the guy can come in, point, and they take it away. Like a dumpster in there for about a month and declutter it, not because we have that much stuff.
Do you need
but
a dumpster or do you need a person of like a dumpster and somebody like?
We need a dumpster, someone to drop it off.
So you just need a dumpster.
Yeah, and then we can load, my brother and I can.
Okay, so that's
load it up.
dumpster. That's simple.
Someone
Yeah,
gives
we
me
can
some,
give
right?
you some. Yeah, me
I mean,
too.
I've talked to you about it. Sure.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna turn it here and who would you like to go first? Christine Maxim. Hi, Christine.
I'm driving to an appointment, so sorry about that. So I'm doing an open house for Joe Fisicelli this weekend. He's got a brand new construction in Methuen coming on the market probably by Friday. And mid 400s. He hasn't really set a price yet, but I just wanted to let everybody know that that's coming on. And next month I have a complete rehab in Lowell coming on, and that will be price to be determined, but I'm looking around 250. Nice house on a dead end street, but there's been a tenant in there for like 10 years. And he's clearing the tenant out and the junk. So that's it.
Thank you. Who else next? That's all we have, folks. All right, well, if you need anything, let us know. Thank you so much for your time today. Happy selling. And everybody on Zoom, thank you for